Hi friends, these days more and more people in businesses going digital and want to create their first web or mobile application, and that means they need to have a lot of different people at their disposal, like product and project managers, designers and architects, developers and DevOps, QA engineers and many others. And most people are frustrated because of that. They have never done it before and it's tough to understand where to start from. So if you're one of those, then in this video I want to discuss several topics like how to understand if you need to create your own team rather than hiring a development firm. And if you need to hire a firm, where should you look for it and how should you select one? So in order to understand if you need to hire your own internal team, the first thing you should consider is at what stage your idea is. Is it just an idea, or you have already researched the competition, talked to the target audience and have a preliminary understanding that your idea is valid? Or probably you have already conducted several experiments and have solid proof that your idea is valid. Or maybe you are building something common on the market and you want to make it a little bit different and better, so you already have a proof that the idea has a product market fit. And suppose you are at the first two stages. In this case, you probably don't need to hire your internal team yet because you will encounter a lot of hiring expenses on the way, and your primary focus should be on a product validation rather than in building an operational machine. Also, hiring talented people could be a challenge for a pre-revenue startup that hasn't been yet proven by the market and doesn't have massive investment injections. Finally, you will spend way more time hiring a team than a firm. And even big companies like banks are more likely to hire a firm only because they don't have that internal expertise to employ technical experts who are not directly required for the business model to work. And they prefer to spend way less time because they need to speed up their time to market instead of hiring people and ensuring they work well together, which can take ages. So I would suggest hiring an internal team only when you already have a working product and have enough product support work and future developments to hold people for at least several years in a row. Okay, now when you understand that you don't need to hire a team, how should you know what firm to hire and where to find one? And in order to do so, we need to get back to our initial question regarding the idea stage. This will significantly impact your decision whether to hire a firm or a freelancer. And if you have a super early stage idea, I recommend hiring a freelancer who could create something very small and less expensive, a proof of concept that you can test with your friends and family. There are a lot of different platforms where you can find them, but I would probably use something like Fiverr, Upwork, and freelancer.com. And here you can easily search for the term app development or find a list of freelancer by selecting the needed category. Then you can filter your search by service option, language, budget, and find the best choice for you. And I will give you a free hack on how to hire someone for free. Search for app development and then sort it by the newest arrival. Pick at least 5 to 10 people who don't have any reviews yet and ask them to do a job for you in return for a good review. For most newcomer freelancer, the hardest thing is to get the first paid job without having at least several reviews. So for some of them, it might be a reasonable option to go and get started with you. Ideally, you should have at least 2-3 people doing the same job for 2 reasons. Having fewer options is always better as it gives a different angle on the same things, and you're minimizing your risk that a freelancer disappears and doesn't deliver anything. You wasted your time and you need to start over. When you've done your first experiment and are ready for a bigger test in a natural environment, you can hire a firm. And I would use a little bit different approach for selecting a company than a freelancer. But before discussing that topic, let's discover where to find one. Most of us would rather search for someone in their network, but it's not the case for most of us. You can search for those at Clutch, Design Rush, good firms, and some app development firms list themselves in platforms even like Upwork. And I would use the following method to select the best choice. First of all, you have to make a preliminary list of about 15 companies that first have a solid portfolio, at least 50 projects, second are at least 5 years on the market, and those 2 things will help to minimize the risk of weaker teams for a longer project so they don't close down or die. Third, who has cases in portfolio in the same domain as yours idea. In this case, they know what to do and have experience in building the similar project, so they should make it faster and won't study for your money. Sometimes you may choose companies with other strong domain expertise, and it can be beneficial because all innovation lies on the intersection of different domains where you bring something one to another. But you need to ensure they know what to do and they have defined process for that. And fourth, I wouldn't rather search for huge companies and go in the direction of a small to medium-sized companies where you will probably still be able to get that very personal touch and care, because in huge companies, losing you as a client won't make any difference for their business. Once this list is done, send them a brief in description of your idea and share comprehensive details only once the NDA is signed. Give preference to those who offer to schedule a call to discuss your inquiry. During these calls, look for what questions they ask, and don't go with those companies and vendors who ask only technical questions like how this feature will work or what kind of technology you want us to use. And you need to shortlist companies that ask business-related questions along with technical ones, even if they don't directly relevant to the deal. This will show their interest in the project itself, and if you want to create a great product, your vendor should be passionate about it. Also, let them share insights and details on a similar projects in their portfolio and ask specific questions related to the domain to understand their level of competence. Overall, you should look for the confidence in their replies that they are capable of creating the product. And basically, you need to end up with at least 5 to 7 companies in the shortlist with whom you should have another call, and in this call, ask them how fast they can start the product, and very important, who will be on the team. Ask them to share their experiences and even profile, and also ask if those team members have experience working together before. And it would be best if you chase a team with solid experience and evidence of passion in what they do. And good signs are that they are lecturers or teachers in some courses, universities or schools, and have awards or some sort of certification. Ideally, you should also have a call with the project manager who will lead your case to speak with him and feel if you do like that person and if you have an energetic match with him. Ask him what he would do and how would he lead the team in this project. This will be your main point of contact during your entire journey, and you have to make sure that nothing personal can stop you from achieving the great results. And by the end of these calls, you should have 2 to 3 companies in the final list. And take this list and make pros and cons and rate all of them by 4 major criteria: their experience, mindset match, budget, and time. Sometimes companies at this stage go with 2 or even 3 vendors simultaneously with a small test job, for example, designing a concept. And I believe this is the best way to find the best company to be your partner for an extended period of time. And you can even let all of them know that they are in a contest. This will create a competitive effect between them to get a bigger pie later and enhance the overall outcome. Yes, it may cost you an additional budget, but it levels out all of the risk further on. In general, having a small test job like that is crucial before going into complete work, because you'll have ability to test vendor in real work, which sometimes is not that ideal as been described during sales calls. So this is it. This is the approach I would recommend applying to find the best partner for creating your digital product. Or actually, you may apply it to many fields like hiring, marketing, branding, SMM agency, or whatever. If you find it helpful, I would appreciate your reaction to this video, and I want you to succeed. See you in the next video.